Hello, Internet Deadly friends. My name is Rich. Thank you so much for visiting me today. Want to do a quick terrifying Trinkets video on my NECA Jason / Friday the 13th action figure video. I know the Friday the 13th franchise is not considered to be a success critically. However, as far as entertainment value, they are some of my favorite all-time horror movies. Jason is my, not my favorite all-time horror movie. But it's right up there, and I really do enjoy them. Jason is my favorite of the big slashers, and I've been collecting his merchandise for some time. So, without further ado, let's take a quick look at some of these NECA Jason action figures, and we'll start not with Jason, but with Pamela Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 1. No, Jason was not the killer in Part 1. And if that is a spoiler for you, you must be like 10 years old. Not a bad figure. It hasn't aged particularly well. When it first came out, I remember thinking that it looked just like Pamela Voorhees. But again, it's an older figure. It gets the job done. If you've seen Friday the 13th, you definitely know who this is. This came in a 2-pack with the Part 2 Jason. And it came with this cool diorama piece, which is from Friday the 13th Part 2, which is really cool. But I'm just sort of displaying her like this because it kind of fits in more with the rest of the figures. And going in order of the movies, let's go over to Sackhead Jason. This is Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2, where he took up the mantle of killing stupid teenagers. Good figure. It came with an alternate unmasked head. I'm not sure where that is. Again, these older NECA figures, very little articulation, but they look good. And it also comes with Mama Voorhees' head, which is also a bit of a spoiler. So there's Part 2. Then over here to Part 3. This is when Jason first got his goalie mask. Much better articulation on this one. Of course, Friday the 13th Part 3 was in 3D, so whoa. Which is about the extent of some of the 3D shots in that movie. I have him posed with that kind of fishing harpoon gun, just so I don't have all these figures just holding a machete, just to sort of make it look a little bit different. And that is a very scene-specific weapon to Friday the 13th Part 3. Now, my favorite Friday the 13th is Part 4. So here is the Part 4 Jason, or Final Chapter Jason. Very cool figure. NECA is coming out with an Ultimate Part 4 Jason, but this figure has all the updated articulation, so I don't know if I need to buy that one. So there's Part 4. We don't have a Part 5 Jason, or Part 5 Killer from Friday the 13th Part 5. I'll say no more in case you haven't seen it. They did make one of their Mego retro style figures, but they haven't made a regular Part 5, like just a regular old 7-inch plastic Part 5 Jason. So we'll skip right over to Jason Lives, my Part 6 Jason. This is one of the NECA Ultimate figures, really good articulation. I did a video looking at this figure. I'll put a link in the description to that down below, as well as the Ultimate Part 3 Jason. This Jason makes a great Ultimate figure because he has a ton of accessories. He had the whole utility belt of killing instruments. And then, of course, after Part 6, we had Part 7. The New Blood. Very, very cool figure. One of the coolest looks for Jason. He was I guess Part 6 he was full on zombie, but he looks even more zombified. You can see his rib cage. He almost has, his goalie mask has almost become like a Phantom of the Opera mask, where you can sort of see where his face is rotting away. Very little articulation, again, on this older figure, but the sculpting is top notch. We don't have a Part 8 Jason. I don't know if anyone's ever done a Part 8 Jason. We don't have a Jason Goes to Hell, which would be not called Part 9, but the 9th entry. Mezco did do a Jason Goes to Hell Jason that I don't have. I'm trying to keep these all NECA, but I might pick up that figure to go in this, because I don't know if NECA is ever going to bother doing a Jason Goes to Hell Jason. However, after Jason Goes to Hell comes Freddy vs. Jason. So here's my Freddy vs. Jason. Again, not a lot of articulation, and this guy is really big. The New Blood Jason is also very big. Not a bad figure. Again, very little articulation. This figure came in a 2-pack with Freddy, and they had a cool sort of Crystal Lake dock display base, but I'm just keeping this all Jason, so I have that Freddy packed away. And that takes us to the remake Jason. not a movie I enjoyed a whole lot, which is something because you have to work harder to make a Friday the 13th movie I don't enjoy than one I do enjoy. So these filmmakers worked very hard to make sure I did not enjoy the remake, but it's not a bad figure. Now, of course, there is Jason X. McFarlane made a Jason based on that movie, which I used to have, and I foolishly sold it, which I regret. And he would fit in perfectly with some of the older NECA figures. And I think that's the only other Jason. Oh, a Part 1 Jason. Again, NECA did do a retro style one, but they haven't done a proper sort of little kid in the lake Jason from Part 1. So hopefully they'll do that. So we need Part 1, we need Part 5, we need Part 8, we need Jason Goes to Hell, and we need Jason X for me to have all the Jasons. Typically when I collect figures based on a character, I like to universe build, so I'm a big Batman fan, so I want to have Batman plus his villains and his allies. I don't want a shelf of just the same, Batman figure. However, with Jason, because he had a different look in each movie, I do sort of want to collect all the different looks of Jason. And then over here, just to show you this goalie mask, this came in a Friday the 13th DVD box set. Not really in a box, it was more in sort of this, almost like a book of all the Friday the 13th movies in it. I don't know why I'm over-explaining this. This came with a DVD collection of the Paramount Friday the 13th movies. This little mini mask. It's too small to fit on my giant head, but perhaps a toddler would like to wear it. And over here, a couple more Jason figures. We have the Reveltech 5-inch Jason, which is pretty much based on the Part 3 Jason. Had a cool base. We have the Funko Mystery Mini Jason. And we have the Funko Reaction figure, which is supposed to look like a 70s or 80s action figure. That Jason Tombstone actually goes with the Part 6 Jason, but it's so small, I find it looks better with a 3 1/4 scale figure. So there you go. Just a quick look at my Jason action figures. I'm actually, I have a project right now to clean up my my movie room and make it my horror movie and collectibles room. But I got a lot of work to do, as you can see. But rest assured, I do want to get this room cleaned up. I'm also working on cleaning up my Star Wars room, so I can do a proper tour of my Star Wars action figures. Or perhaps I'm just doing all these projects so that I don't have to finish any of them. But hopefully someday I will have this room cleaned up and we'll go through all of my horror action figures. But until that day, I hope you enjoyed this look at Mama Voorhees' favorite son. Okay, guys, until next time, I hope to see ya.